The NBA a couple of weeks ago allowed teams to start selling ads on their jerseys. The 76ers are the first team in the NBA to have done it, making kind of history today when they had StubHub will have a patch 2.5 by 2.5 left shoulder of the 76ers jersey. Not this season coming up, but the next NBA basketball season. $5 million is the reported price. Half goes to the Sixers. Half goes to the players. Alicia Jessop is a professor at the University of Miami. She's a sports business analyst. And I don't like this at all, Alicia. I think the amount of money, there's not enough skin in the game to do this. I mean, $2.5 million is what the Sixers are going to end up with. I know it's inevitable, but do you like the fact that NBA teams are going to be the first one to get to do this?
Well, I think it just shows the progressive nature of the NBA. We've seen this progress with the NBA social media usage in recent years. The NBA was really the first league to expand its presence globally utilizing social media, and now it becomes the first major league in the United States to allow its individual teams to sell ad space on its jerseys. I think it was just a matter of time. In 2013, the league allowed individual teams to sell what's called the apron space. So the apron is the space on the hardwood in front of a team's bench. That space reportedly sells for between $2 to $3 million. And so what we see is a league that recognizes it has to compete in a pretty fierce sports market in the United States. And one way to allow its teams to continue to compete against rising interests like the NFL or even Major League Soccer in the U.S. is to ensure that they have enough money to put a good product out on the court. So I think this is inevitable, and I think that we'll see other teams and other leagues follow suit pretty soon.
Right, and I think we all realize that the inevitability factor is there. What does it say that the team that got the first ad is the worst team, maybe not only in basketball, but in professional sports, for not only this year, but in the last 3 years, and they were able to go out and do this?
I knew that you were going to say that. That's why I kind of chuckled as you started the question. I think there's a deeper issue here, and I think that this is really a political power play by StubHub. So when you look at the NBA as a league has an exclusive deal with Ticketmaster. The teams outside of the NBA can enter into their own ticketing deals. And in the world of the NBA, we have a couple of different players in the world of ticketing. One is Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster has deals with 24 teams. Another one is a company that was actually started by the Cavs' Dan Gilbert. His company has six NBA teams, has roughly 5 NBA teams. And then StubHub has one NBA team, and its one NBA team is the Philadelphia 76ers. And so what I think this boils down to is StubHub trying to remain competitive in the NBA marketplace and also kind of sending up a flare, if you will, to Ticketmaster and Dan Gilbert saying, it's your turn to play, because guess what? The 76ers might be the worst team, like you said, in pro sports in America, but now our little ad is going to be seen at least on 82 games during the NBA season on their jersey. So what are you going to do, Ticketmaster? Are you willing to spend $5 million a pop? Because if you aren't, we're coming after your teams now, and we're willing to shell out the money. So I think this is going to embroil into a pretty interesting battle over the summer for this ad space, and essentially what StubHub did is it played the first card.
Interesting. You know, how much pressure, Alicia, does this put on the corporate sales guy when the owner now says, hey, the Sixers got an ad, you better get an ad?
It puts a lot of pressure because, like I alluded to, in 2013, the NBA allowed teams to begin selling that apron space. I evaluated teams' apron space sales earlier this year, I would say January or February, and a lot of that space remained unsold, and most of the space was sold to daily fantasy sports sites like DraftKings and FanDuel. Well, the interesting tidbit in this jersey ad space is that the NBA has come out and said that teams cannot sell the space to alcohol suppliers, political campaigns, or gambling companies. And we're living in this age where it's unclear in many states as to whether or not daily fantasy sports sites amount to gambling. So we don't know if those sites can actually purchase this space. And so what it does is it creates an uphill battle for the people inside the front office who are responsible for selling this, because we've seen a similar opportunity arise within the last 3 years, and teams in large part haven't been able to sell that space, and the space for the apron space goes at a lesser dollar amount than the jersey ad space.
See, Alicia Jessop's with us, professor, University of Miami, sports business analyst. I don't have a problem with any of the other, and I don't know why I have a problem with on the jerseys. Maybe because it's, these big four sports, and they're considered, I think, that's still the big four. I know there's NASCAR does it, and golf, and soccer. But guess what? They don't get the coverage that these other sports do, and I think part of it is because of this kind of sacred nature that these sports are different. They don't have all the stuff going on. So I guess it's 2.5 by 2.5. It's small. I get it. It's a 3-year trial. But you know what's going to happen? 2.5 and 2.5 is going to turn into 2.5 by 2.5, and then another. The next thing you know, do you see that that's where this is going?
Oh, it's definitely going there, and we're going to come to a point where it's not just one ad, but it's 2 ads, and when it's 2, it's 4. And I think the reason why you might, and others might, have a problem with it is this. We are living in an age where sport just isn't about sport anymore. It's about monetizing the game. I'm a sports business analyst. I've written for 3 major publications. When I go to a game, I don't watch the game anymore. I look around the arena, and I figure out how I can make money or create revenue streams for teams. And that doesn't appeal to most fans, especially when hardworking Americans are shelling out hundreds of dollars to take their family to a game. And then you see a maneuver like this, the question becomes, well, when is enough enough? How much money do these owners need to keep this operation afloat? So I think that's the big question. And what teams are going to have to do is they're going to have to follow in an NFL team's footsteps. The Atlanta Falcons today announced that in their new stadium, a family of 4 will be able to feed the entire group for $28 with the hot dogs, fries, and sodas for all. So I think teams, if they're going to maneuver this way, where they fully monetize everything related to the game, there's going to have to be some kickbacks or cutbacks so fans don't become disenfranchised.
Well, right. And if you're getting $5 million for this ad on your jersey, which is a new stream of income, does that trickle down to, all right, we're going to lessen ticket prices? I don't see that happen. And like you just said something that kind of sticks out to me, because I'm the same way. Like I said, I don't have a problem. My point was, there are many other ways to monetize something rather than taking a shortcut to the jersey, right? I mean, if you're saying I'm looking around an arena, I can find 10 other things that they could have sold before the jersey space. And I know that might be the most valuable, but there, I think, were other ways that they can make similar amount of money. Because to me, again, $5 million, which only 2.5, correct me if I'm wrong there, the way I read it,
right,
was 2.5 goes to the team, 2.5 kind of gets dispersed through the players. That's just not enough skin in the game for what they're about to do here.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. This is the most valuable space. And in a blog that will be released a little later on sportsdigita.com, Sports Digita is a digital sports agency that actually is partners with the 76ers, so played a role in this deal. The blog will discuss why this is the best opportunity for NBA teams to sell sponsorship. And I'll give the clincher away. There's intrinsic value in these deals. Why didn't sponsors jump at the opportunity to buy apron space? The apron is one of the most visible places in the NBA because the camera often pans to the bench. This deal is more valuable to a sponsor because now I align my brand with each player on a roster. We're living in an age where an NBA endorsement deal is valued for some players at over $30 million a year. Companies like StubHub might be able to afford to endorse one NBA star, but they're not going to be able to afford to endorse a roster full of NBA stars. And so this is a really valuable opportunity for the corporation. But on the flip side, it creates revenue for the team that it hasn't been able to find as high of an amount elsewhere. So it's a lucrative proposition for both sides if they're actually able to get the deal done. And, the 76ers are in a widespread, highly visible media market in Philadelphia. That's a very coveted space. in the world of the United States media markets. But like you said, they're the worst team, and they got this deal done.
What did you think about the price? $5 million. Is that? I mean, obviously, teams.
I think it's a coup.
Well, sure, but I guess teams can regulate. There's no regulation on what the price can be. This was free for all. Go out and get what you can get, right?
Yeah, we live in a free market society thanks to antitrust law in the United States. So that the fact that the 76ers, with their record, were able to get that deal is due in large part to their media market. But like I said, they sent a flare to the rest of the league. The Knicks have a less worse record than the 76ers, although still not a great record, but they're in the biggest media market in the U.S. What about the Warriors? The Warriors this year racked up the best record in NBA history, and they're also in a major media market. How much should their corporate sales guy be offering this deal for? You know, I think the Warriors foreseeably could get $7.5 to $10 million for ad space on their jerseys. So this opened up a Pandora's box where I really think what we're going to see this summer is Ticketmaster and StubHub go head-to-head to wrap up these deals and solidify their place in the jersey market.
All right, the Sixers
Not New Jersey.
The Sixers made history by doing something. They were first in something. They have StubHub will be on their jersey starting not this season coming up, the following season, and this is a 3-year trial, which I can't imagine that this isn't going to be something that gets approved for the lifetime. Do you see other sports leagues quickly following?
You know, what's interesting is, like I alluded to in the beginning, the NBA tends to press the envelope a bit more than the other leagues in the United States by trying new things. My hunch is this 3-year trial, I think that's just a PR ploy, this 3-year trial will finish, I guess, within the next 5 years that the NFL will be on board. 7 years,
Yikes.
NHL, and that the last to adopt will be Major League Baseball.
Yeah, you know, baseball, it's funny because I remember a couple of years ago they had like Spider-Man or Batman on the bases, and that didn't go over very well. And yesterday they had the little play ball over top, and you were wondering, is that their way of trying to figure out what the reaction will be? But I didn't care for the look of that either, and that wasn't even an ad. That was just a promotional item. I don't know. Maybe I'm too old school, and I'm not even that old. But I just don't like the uniform thing. That, to me, is a little sacred. And you had other areas that you could – I don't even care if they put ads on the damn floor or if they put the things like you see in the European leagues at the baselines, if they did something, with ads on the baselines like that. But I don't know, the jersey thing. And you think $5 million was a good deal?
I think it was a great deal for them. Because initial estimates were that teams were going to sell this for $3 to $5 million.
Yep.
The fact that the Sixers got the high end of that estimate signals to me that whoever created that estimate largely undervalued the deals. The NBA estimated that it would create $100 million worth of revenue across the league. So that's $3.33 million on average for each team. The fact that the Sixers got 5 is huge.
Alicia Jessop's with us. She's a professor at the University of Miami, a sports business analyst. She's at Rolling Sports on Twitter for more on the sports business world and the NBA ads on jersey starting 17 and 18 season. Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you.